Let's get started. Welcome to the Clinical Faculty Career Advisor Program Overview for the 2023-2024 season. My name is Humberto Santiago. I am the new Career Services Specialist over at the Office of Career and Residency Advising. So let's get started with the agenda. So today we're going to talk about the career advising system, require one-on-one encounters that you will have with each medical student, Google site meant to be a centralized location for resources and trainings, and a quick overview of the residency application. And lastly, contact information on who to contact if you want to refer students to a certain area, whether it's health and wellness, whether it's scholarly activities, etc. So the first one is career advising. So we're just briefly going to talk about who the advising team is over at the Office of Career and Residency Advising. We're going to talk a little bit about your role, your responsibility to support the medical students. And then I'm going to show you a little bit of data from our previous match, so you can see the great impact that this CFCA has on our medical students. So the career faculty advising team is myself, Humberto Santiago. I am here to answer any questions about payment. I have oversight of the tracking of encounters. So if you have issues recording your encounters, if a student is not responding to scheduling a meeting, general questions about the advising program, and matching students with faculty and vice versa, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Dr. Simmons for any onboarding issues, complex student situations, unresponsive students, or any LOAs from the student, or from yourself as well. And then lastly, our new member, Alex Muro, he will talk to you about fourth year schedule requirements, expertise in away rotations, and just any up-to-date information about residency program requirements. Our emails are all there, and Dr. Simmons does have her cell phone there. And then a little bit about your role in this program. So you're going to help students with the review and advising on their fourth year rotation schedule, which is due in the next couple of months. You're going to provide feedback on their CVs and personal statement. You're going to provide guidance on some situations that may be particular to that student, whether it's couples match, military match, any academic challenges they may have had or have, and they need to kind of work that out through their application process. You're going to help review the student's residency application, make sure it is solid. And once they start getting interviews, we ask that you have practice interviews, mock interviews with these students so they can get practice. And then just discuss the interview trail with them, see how their interviews are going, how many interviews they have, are they stressing out because they don't have too many, etc. Just talk to them about that process. And then lastly, just kind of work with them on their rank order list for match. And down below, you see that we have a LCME component. I'm going to briefly talk about that in a couple slides. So here's a little bit of the timeline for you all once you interact with your students. Right now, we're in the first bullet, match with student. So the students have already gone through their fourth year orientation in late January. They actually got access to VSLO, so some of the students are exploring that process to see what rotations they want to do away. And then now in March, we are going to pair you with the medical student or students based on their responses via an inventory that we seeked in December and January. Once you're matched with your student, you're going to set up your first encounter, which is really to talk about that fourth year schedule and just get to meet your medical student. So encounter one is meet with the student and complete the fourth year schedule. And then that schedule will be submitted to Alex by no later than April 7th. And that will be via Canvas. The student should know this, but we're just providing it as additional resource so you can remind them. And then once that's done, in the summertime, we'll start working on Encounter 2, which is really reviewing the personal statement, the CV, provide feedback so that they can start getting their residency application ready. And then you can consult with Dr. Simmons or Alex regarding application support, see what the student needs. And then once they submit that, that's a big stressor out of the way. And then comes another is interview season. So, faculty advisors are going to engage the student in mock interviews, support them in writing letters of interest to garner more interviews if it's appropriate for that student. I talked about this earlier, LCME and compliance. So LCME standard 11.2 really focuses on career advising, and that's what we're doing. So within this, we're ensuring all students complete required career and residency advising activities. And this is one of those activities to have a faculty advisor work with them through this whole entire process. We do ask both the student and the faculty advisor to complete Qualtrics surveys when they do have an encounter with the student so that we can track and record this information and provide any support if needed to the medical students. So it's a little bit of data here. Let me move this away. So the class of 2022 had a 98% match rate success. That was one student went unmatched that season. And we want to thank you. You are part of their success. You guided them through this process, and that's why they have successfully matched into their specific specialty. So thank you so much for that. And then now for class of 2024, this is the current specialty breakdown. This obviously will change throughout the season, but as of right now, as of today, as March 1st, this is what we have as our specialties for the students, and approximately 10% of the students will change their specialty throughout the process. And there's nothing wrong with that. All we ask that both the student and the faculty contact me with any updates if there is a change in specialty so that we can note that, and then we can transfer the student to the correct faculty advisor so that they can get the support needed for that specific specialty. Now, career advising encounters. So this is going to talk a little bit about your mandatory encounters that you'll have with your medical student. And as you all know, there are 4 mandatory encounters that you'll need to have with the student. And then there's an optional encounter if necessary to support the student if they see fit. So the first required encounter starts in March. So March, April is when we want you all to meet with the medical students to discuss the 4th year schedule. I've already said that a couple times, and obviously to meet and greet them, get to know them, and they get to know you as well. And when we will have a required Qualtrics tracking form for every encounter. So we'll send you a reminder, and then we'll also have it on the Google site that I'm going to talk about in the next few slides. And then May through September is required encounter 2. That is when you want to support the students through their residency application process by reviewing and providing feedback on their CV and personal statement, and then obviously advice on the residency application itself. And then I forgot to mention April 7 is the deadline for the medical students to submit their 4th year schedule to the student, to Alex via Canvas. And then required encounter 3 is October to January. You can probably figure this out. That is interview season. So we really want to support and prepare the students for interview season by doing some mock interviews. So they can do mock interviews with you all one-on-one, but also the Office of Career and Residency Advising provides virtual mock interviews for our students to participate in. I think we do about 5 to 6 sessions where we have about 8 to 10 medical students attend, and then they can do round robin mock interviews with faculty. So be on the lookout for that email. We may need some of you to come out and do a round robin interview process with our medical students so they get some practice. Require encounter 4 is really advising on the rank order list. This is the end of the journey, right? So they're coming to the end. So we just want you to support the medical student on their rank order list so that it's ready to go in February, so that by March, we find their match success. And then in April and June, things slow down obviously a lot. The students have matched and they're getting ready for the residency program. So we do invite you to join us for match day and for commencement. If your schedule sees fit, you are more than welcome to come and enjoy this moment with your medical students. Now, the Google site. So this is something new that OCRA, the Office of Career Residency Advising, is really pushing so that we have a centralized resource for you all to utilize when you see fit. So on this Google site, you'll see training modules, resources, contact information, and we're also starting office hours. So you'll get to have office hours with Dr. Simmons Sunday evenings, just if you want to chat about the program, have any suggestions, you want to talk about a student that you're meeting with, etc. It's a great way to send that information over to the team. And we understand that every medical student's experiences are different. There's challenges, there's barriers and achievements. They're all going to be different. So that's why we want to provide this resource page for you all to utilize. So before I move on to the next slide, I want to bring this forward just to give you a quick look at that Google site. So this will be sent to you all so you can access it at any time whenever you want. There's obviously a home welcome page, and then we're going to have a training tab right here. So this is where you'll see the training videos. The one we're currently recording will go here for CFCA overview, and then training module 2 is ready to go, which is the 4th year schedule. And then we'll have more training modules forthcoming as you start getting ready for those encounters in the near future. We also have a resource page. It'll talk anything about supplemental ARIS applications, program signals, vSLO, and more things will come. There will be a way for you all to track your encounters. So if you forget, just bookmark this Google site and just go to tracking encounters, click on the button, and it'll take you directly to the Qualtrics survey where you can track your encounter. So we're trying to make it easier for you all. And then lastly, on this resource page, we'll have presentations. So all the things that we talked about via video, we're also going to provide to you a Google slide or a Google presentation so that you can go through it at your own convenience. The great thing we have here is our contact information, right? So you'll get to see the contact information for OCRA. And also, who do I contact, right? So we'll have step 2, health and wellness, scholar activities, financial aid. These are some resources our students will seek out, and it's great for you all to be aware so you can provide that to them as well. And lastly, as we talked about office hours, this is ready to go. So Dr. Simmons will be hosting office hours for any clinical faculty advisor. They're going to be scheduled for Sunday evenings at 6 p.m. Just click on this button and you will be able to join directly on that Zoom link. So I'll go ahead and move this out of the way. I'll come back on the picture. And we can go to the next slide. And then in addition to all those items that we talked about on the Google page or the Google site, we are going to have updates on national policies, procedures, that will help you stay up to date and most informed with the data that we have. If you have any resources that you utilize in your advising system or your advising practice, and you want to recommend it to us, feel free to send me an email and we can see how we can add it to that resource page for other faculty advisors to utilize as well. And then here is just a general timeline of what the application process will be like. So May through September, right? Remember, you have that encounter too with your student where you're providing support with the CV, with the personal statement. The students are requesting their letters of recommendation. There's also the supplemental application, which is actually due before the application. So the supplemental application is due on the 16th, and the application is due on the 29th. So some of your specialties have an option to complete the supplemental application, and we'd have that resource in the Google site for you all to see and understand which programs are participating in the supplemental application process. And then from October to January, that's really encounter 3. They're having their interviews with their different programs, and at the same time they're practicing with mock interviews either with our office or with you at a one-on-one case. So it's just making sure that the students get as much practice as possible. And then February is when they start to complete their rank order list. So again, advising and providing support during that process so that they can complete their rank order list as best fit for their goals. And then March, it's match day or SOAP. And then April through June, they're just getting ready for commencement and getting ready to graduate as they prepare for residency. So you can see the bulk of the work is being done in the early months, May through January. And then at the end, it's just a lot of the accomplishments are being shown. So it's just a quick general timeline for you all to have. Like we're having technical difficulties. There you go. All right, so who do I refer students and for what? So for step 2 support, you will contact Dr. Granillo. They'll help them in creating a study plan, schedule their exam, practice exam vouchers, and any consultation for accommodations. Student wellness, right? Help with coping with stress. We understand that this whole process is very stressful, so it's a great tool for the students to be aware of, resources for their mental health, and overall support for student well-being. So that will be Amanda Smith. And then scholarly activity support with any scholarly activity work, and then scholarly activity electives. That will be Dr. Daniel Novak. And then financial aid, we'll support them for financial resources, for away rotations, for interviews, and questions about their loans. And then who do I go to? I already showed you this this slide once, but it's just a recap. Who do I go to for onboarding complex student situations, unresponsive students, and leave of absence? You'll go to Dr. Simmons. For 4th year schedule requirements, expertise in away rotations, up-to-date information on residency programs and requirements, you'll go to Alex, and then you'll go to me for any questions about payment, oversight of tracking encounters. So if you're having issues with the Qualtrics survey or the button or any of that stuff, just send me an email and we'll figure it out together. Any general questions about the faculty career advising program, reach out to me. And then any student pairing issues, you can contact me as well, and I'll be able to support you in that. And then lastly, I just want to introduce the career and residency advising team. You already seen these names plenty of times. So Dr. Simmons, they are the Senior Associate Dean of Student Affairs. Dr. Tergucci, they're the Associate Dean of Student Affairs. Myself, Career Services Specialist, and Alex as the Residency Development Specialist. And that should be it. So if you have any questions, please let me know via email, and I'll get to you as soon as I can. And we're looking forward for this adventure together. So we're excited to have you. The students are eager, and we can't wait to get started. So thank you so much.